Welcome to 24 Days of Drops, an Animal Crossing New Horizons advent calendar that reveals a new build for a differently themed island entrance each day until Christmas. Are you ready for today's theme? Welcome today to Hello, I hope you're well. This is day 2 of 24 Days of Drops. Today's build is a Storybook inspired build. It's going to be very colourful, even though we are going to be cleaning up the colour palette later on. It's still going to stay colourful, but I am starting to build this in autumn, and then later on we're going to be switching back to, I think, like early September, so that we still have the green grass instead of the yellow. So we're going to be cancelling out the yellow, so it's going to be very, very colourful, but minus the yellow. But welcome, I hope you've all been well. I did a shit ton of waterscaping to begin with because I wanted there to be this very windy waterscaping. So in a second I'm going to cut back to a little montage of me trying to figure this out and my brain not really working with me because, you know, waterscaping is tough, and I think this is gonna show you what I mean by that. And I cut out so much of it, but oh well. I mean, you know, sometimes you just have to try, and trial and error is gonna get you there, but sometimes there's gonna be more error than trial. You know. Actually, no, I have no clue what the fuck I just said. Sorry, can't help you there. Anyway, I'm not sure what I'm going on about. We are starting out with waterscaping, and then I'm going to be laying down this path. Obviously, this is going to match the autumn. So later on, we're going to be using the green grass. Again, I've already said that in the first build. If you haven't checked that out, I'm going to link that in a little card up right now, and I'm also going to leave a little link in the description box to the entire playlist, so that by the end, when we have all 24 builds uploaded, you can just go back, and if you decide to go back or find this build later on, you can just see what else we've been doing during our little advent calendar. But all the codes that I've been using on this entrance, or in this entrance for this theme, are going to be in the description box, so that you can see if anything is interesting to you. And I'm also going to be linking the ones that I've used now, even though I think the only one that I exchanged really was the path that I'm using, and that's obviously from the same creator, I think. Just the green kind of summary version that has like almost a teal tint, which is also what made me want to switch to the more green grass. Plus, I am later going to be exchanging the yellow small mush platforms for the teal ones, so the green versions, because I felt like they looked really, really nice. And I kind of like how almost like mystical it made it look with those like more cold colors. I don't know, it made it feel very like magical and storybooky, if that's even a word. But I also wanted to include my home because I don't know, I felt like it made it feel very cozy. And also in many storybooks there are houses involved, or like, for example, I don't know, like I feel like it just makes it so cozy. I'm not sure why I said that there are houses involved. Obviously people live in houses, Nina. But I just felt like it would make sense to have a house at the entrance, because maybe that's where, you know, we start, that's where we're reading the story, and then you're kind of diving into the storybook, if that makes any sense. So I'm going to be doing that, and then later with the finishing touches, we're also going to be flopping in some actual books, so like some stacked books and some dropped pocket books, and also some book codes that I found, which are absolutely stunning. I was also going to use, you know, those huge kind of multi-tile books that people have created to look like a storybook. I was going to use one of those, but I felt like everyone who does a storybook theme kind of uses them, and they are beautiful, don't get me wrong, and no shade to anyone who uses them, because they are very, very gorgeous. But I wanted to make something slightly different, even though this is very generic. Like, it's a very kind of foresty build, tons of trees, tons of foliage, just a bit more colorful. And I don't know, like I felt like there are going to be very unique kind of takes, or at least very out of my comfort zone kind of builds within this advent calendar. So I also wanted to allow myself to be a bit more basic every now and again, because it's very tough to come up with the most unique ideas for 24 themes. So with some of these, it's going to be a bit more my style. For example, there is going to be a cottagecore build, which I'm absolutely absolutely obsessed with though. And there's going to be like a cozy Christmas build. I'm not really spoiling anything. I'm just giving the more generic themes, the more unique ones I'm going to keep until I'm uploading them. So you will have to wait and see what this advent calendar brings. But again, I've also said this in the last video, but let me know if you have any requests still. I still have a couple more videos left to record. So if there's any build or theme that you'd like to see me tackle or see my take on, my ideas on, please drop them in the comments below so that I can maybe give it a whirl and see what I can do with that. But yes, for this entrance, I kind of wanted to make it very dense, and then towards the back, we're gonna later be having some cliffs. To the left, there's gonna be like a waterfall, which is also why we have that river. So that waterfall is gonna lead into the river. And then to the back, we're going to have some cliffs filled up with like mush items and trees and all that good stuff. Oh, I just hit my mic. I'm very sorry if you could hear that. So yeah, and I know that this is a very awkward kind of pathway leading up to the house. I didn't mean for it to be such a small space, but I feel like with especially those first two builds that we've done now, I've done very big and grand, not really grand, but very big in size entrances. So I am also going to be doing some smaller builds because obviously not everybody has a rest services that's like miles away from the airport. So I'm also going to be doing some kind of smaller takes just so that there's something in it for everybody. Or I'm going to be trying that. Obviously, since I have the freedom, since my resident services, by the way, I didn't move this even though this is a modded switch, as I've already said in my last video. I'm using my modded switch just so that I can get items quicker. But I didn't move my rest services build. This was like the original placement of my resident service building, so I didn't move that. But obviously there are maps that have a rest services that's like way off to one of the sides but close to the entrance, or like centered with the entrance and very close to it. So for that matter, I'm not going to be moving my rest services, but I'm going to be showing you some smaller builds in the future as well, if that's something that you're interested in. If you are, if all of us now know and have restarted and know that you can't move rest services, and we all go for a rest services that's fairly far away from the entrance, then by any means I'm going to do all those grand builds.
That'd take me hours.
But I don't know, like I really enjoy having a very big space at the entrance because I don't know, like this is the one build that you have like all the freedom in the world with. So I kind of don't want to limit myself by making it, you know, artificially smaller, if that makes any sense. Like I can go big. I feel like with the entrance, it's kind of a go big or go home kind of scenario where, you know, you wanna impress. You know, if someone wants to come to your island, you want to impress them. You want them to be like,
wow, bitch, this must be a great island.
And then this is really the only thing that you've done.
And here we go. I hope you're hungry for nothing.
Because it's taken you ages to get all the items to build an entrance that was this grand. But I don't know, like I feel like it makes it so fun to kind of just give yourself and allow yourself to go big and like create this huge entrance space. And also like it feels weird if you have like this tiny entrance and then you can see that there's nothing around it. So I kind of want to carry it out so that it seems seamless and it could be a completed island entrance, if that makes any sense. I don't know, I don't know, my brain doesn't work halfway, you know. I have to go all in. I don't know why my brain is like that. I did try to not do too much because obviously, you know, again, not everyone has the luxury of having the biggest space towards the front of their island. But you know, it was fun. And I also really utilized the terraforming tool because I feel like we haven't really done that many like waterfalls for our past islands, and I just wanted to do some natural terraforming. I don't know, it just brings me back to the good old like Animal Crossing beginning days where you did like these sunken waterfalls or like two-tiered waterfalls over the cliff and everyone was like going crazy with the waterscaping. I don't know, it kind of brings me back to that because I feel like I've lost that. Like I don't do that as much anymore because I feel like it's been done so much that no one wants to see me do that, you know. And I'm not saying that to
like, do you want to see that?
No, I'm just saying it because, you know, if I'm uploading a video, I want it to be fairly original. So I don't know, it was just a lot of fun. Also, I'm waffling. I'm very sorry. I'm just waffling on about my thought process, I feel like. But what can I say, really? I'm just terraforming and planting stuff, you know. But that was really, really, really soothing. And this was actually a build that was not on my list, the Storybook build. I just felt very, very inspired to do something colourful, because I've been seeing all these people do these very colourful autumnal builds, which is also why I decided to put this in autumn. But then I felt like it was too much. I couldn't pull it off, so I kind of I cleaned the color palette up a little bit, and I don't know, I feel like it makes a lot more sense to have green in it, because I've tried not to use any green with this build, but I feel like since like so many, you know, stories for like kids' tales kind of are set in like a very natural environment, I felt like cancelling out the green was very weird and it didn't really match the vibe. So I'm really, really glad that I in the end decided to switch that up a little bit, you know, make it more green, make it more mystical. Not even mystical, is that the right word? Not mysterious. It's not mysterious and not mystical, it's something in between, you know. And now we're in the green. Look at that. It's already so much better. I feel like it just helped it to come together so much. I was even debating whether to set this to like 5 a.m. because all the glowing items would really pop off at that time. And then I am now going to be fidgeting a little bit with the pathway, because I felt like it was very weird and I wanted to zhuzh it up a little bit because it felt a bit too boring with just the little brick tiles. So I sprinkle in that book code, and now I'm onto this weird river peninsula type of, you know, land blob that I created here, which really I did that to myself, but it was very difficult to work with that. And then I think if I was to continue this island, which I'm not, but if this was an island that I wanted to continue, I'd probably lead that river that comes out of that waterfall, I'd lead that over to the left and I would connect that in with a different build probably, or I'd completely hide it behind cliffs, or have like a cliff to the front as well with another waterfall so that it goes from waterfall to waterfall, because I don't really love having a river that doesn't have an end and it just kind of magically ends, because that feels very unnatural to me, but also because it's hidden kind of behind trees, I feel like it could work. So, you know, oh well. And now for the back, I'm just going to be throwing in all the different mush items. So we're going to be using the Mario mush items, we're going to be using the actual mush parasols, the mush logs and the mush stools, and also some blue mushrooms, because I really like how the blue looks, especially when it's turned off. So I'm not sure if I turned it off or on in the end, but I really, really enjoyed both. And then obviously the vines, because the vines with that like swirly bit kind of just give me that like storybook magical tale kind of vibe. So I really wanted to have tons of those around, and I'm also going to be popping those up onto the cliff. But other than that, it's really just me like sprinkling some foliage, just, you know, trying to balance all the color, because it wasn't easy to have like that many colors, because let me count them, it's like pink, red, orange, blue, green, and also some blacks in there. So it was like 7 colors, which is a shit ton. I hope I counted that correctly. I might not have. Brain fog, because I am still a little bit sick, if you can hear that in my voice. I'm very, very sorry, but I'm well. It's just, you know, it's just that time of year where you're just a little bit, you know, you have a little bit of a cold and you don't really feel sick, but like, you know, your nose feels sick, if you know what I mean. I don't want to go into detail here, but I feel very excited. This has been like such a fun project for me to work on. And I feel like as much as it has kind of also given me burnout, it has also cured my burnout, you know, partially, because it allowed me to play with like all these themes that I would usually not go for, because they were too like easy, too simple for me, because I always have to make it difficult for myself. Or because they were too out there for me, too out of my comfort zone, something I wouldn't really want to stick to for a whole island. And it was just so much fun to play with all these entrances. So I could definitely see me upload a random entrance build every now and again when I don't feel inspired for my island that we are doing at that time, you know. So if that's something that would be okay for you, I mean, you know, why am I asking? But I always want you guys to feel entertained. I'm very much of a do you kind of content creator. Like, it's important for the content creator to be happy with their content, but also like to be content with their content. Oh, so funny. But also like obviously I want you guys to be happy, so I hope that that's something that you'd be interested in and it's not completely boring for you, because I know that sometimes you would like to, you know, when you see a build you just want to watch all of those videos for that island because you like that theme so much. That's very much me when I find like a new creator and I love that island theme and I'm like, why didn't you upload like they just started the island, for example. I'm just like craving to see more of that island. So I hope it's not triggering any of that in you. Probably not, but you know, you never know. But I don't know, it's just so much fun to play with a theme and to take the pressure of like knowing that you don't have to stick to this if you don't want to. So I could definitely see myself do that in the future whenever I feel a little bit stuck, because I feel like if you feel stuck with an island and then you try to force yourself to build within that theme, it's going to make it so much worse. But if you give yourself the space to kind of like take a step away, just like let yourself think of an idea that you're actually excited about, you know, some items that you maybe haven't used in a while because you completely forgot about them, then you may like rekindle that like spark for that theme, if that makes any sense. I don't know, I feel like I'm waffling again. We're also already nearing the end of this build. It's like another minute left, so we're just going to be filling up these cliffs back here with some trees again. As I also said in my last video, since this is a standalone build, I didn't really think too much about what I put up on those cliffs. I just wanted them to look nice from afar and to like kind of carry similar elements that we've used for the entrance. But obviously if this wasn't a build that I would use on an island where there were, you know, other builds attached to this, I'd probably think about how I could connect the two areas, and I might even have like an accessible cliff back here. Who knows? But anywho, we are nearing the end of this build. I'm going to leave you now with a montage of this second finished build of our little advent calendar. I'm going to be back tomorrow with day number 3 and a brand new island entrance and theme. I hope that you're all going to be staying cozy. Take care of yourself, my lovely. Until tomorrow, and bye-bye.